What if the Joker was never just a man? What if the laughter echoing through Gotham for decades wasn't madness, but something ancient, something haunting? Today we're breaking down one of the most disturbing Batman stories in recent years, a comic that reimagines the Joker not as a criminal, not as a fallen human, but as a timeless nightmare hiding behind a grin. Welcome back to your channel. I'm your host, Captain Comics. This issue takes us deep into secret histories, false bloodlines, and a global conspiracy that stretches from vaudeville stages to modern tech empires. It's a story about clowns, chaos, and the horrifying idea that some monsters don't evolve, they endure. By the end of this breakdown, you'll see the Joker in a completely different way, not as Batman's greatest enemy, but something far worse. Let's get into it. The new absolute Joker. This comic opens with one of the most disturbing Batman images we've seen in years. On the cover alone, we're told everything we need to know about the tone. This is not a Joker who tells jokes or commits crimes with punchlines. This is something feral. His body is warped and inhuman. Pale, sinewy muscles stretched tight over bone, elongated limbs, clawed hands, a tail like a whip, and a face twisted into a predatory grin packed with jagged teeth. His tongue lolls out unnaturally, his eyes burn with madness, and the laughter feels less theatrical and more instinctual. This Joker doesn't perform chaos, he is chaos. And that's the key idea of this issue. The Joker is something ancient, primal, and inevitable. The story begins quietly though, not with the monster, but with a mystery. Alfred is briefing Bruce Wayne on a man known only as the Man in White. This figure is a global anomaly. He owns hundreds of remote islands scattered throughout the world, places that legally cannot be developed. And yet, he spends billions visiting them, always alone. No entourage, no witnesses. Governments, intelligence agencies, and corporations have spent years trying to understand why. Some think he hunts there. Satellites show no infrastructure, no game reserves, no visible signs of activity, just him, arriving and leaving. Bruce listens, but he's dissatisfied. Facts aren't enough. He asks Alfred a dangerous question, not what is known, but what Alfred believes. That question hangs over the entire issue, because belief, especially belief in monsters, is where Batman stories turn mythic. Then, Alfred begins to unravel a story that stretches back more than a century. He tells Bruce about Joseph Grimm, nicknamed Jack, a Gotham orphan from the streets who clawed his way up through vaudeville. Jack was a clown, a performer, someone whose job was to make people laugh, yet he himself never laughed, ever. As his fame grew, so did his power. He bought theaters. He entered silent film. He became a mogul. He mingled with Rockefeller, Carnegie, the titans of American industry. But there was always something wrong. Jack never removed his clown makeup in public. Rumors spread about a skin condition, something grotesque beneath the paint. He lived reclusively, avoided intimacy, and yet donated enormous sums to children's hospitals and orphanages, always anonymously. His name never appeared on buildings. He died in 1938 and was buried in Gotham, leaving behind an empire and a mystery. But that was only the beginning. The comic then traces the Grimm family line through generations, each one named Jack. Jack Grimm Jr. expands into radio and television. Jack Grimm III moves into cable networks and mass media. Jack Grimm IV pushes into early computing and gaming. And then there's Jack Grimm V, the modern incarnation. He's presented as one of the greatest success stories of the modern era, a tech visionary, a near trillionaire, the man who revolutionized online gaming, graphics hardware, and immersive entertainment. A philanthropist, a hero of capitalism. On paper, he's flawless. And yet, something doesn't add up. The narration hints at massive, unexplained spending, billions disappearing, islands bought and abandoned, private expeditions with no witnesses. The closer we look at Jack Grimm V, the less human he feels. That unease becomes outright terror when we see him alone in the jungle. This is where the comic strips away the public image completely. Jack Grimm V isn't smiling. He isn't performing. He is hunting. Armed, focused, silent. He stalks dangerous game on his private islands, facing predators alone. There's no sport in it, no thrill, just necessity, as if this is something he must do. When he's attacked by a wild cat, The fight is brutal and intimate. No gadgets, no guards, just flesh against flesh. Jack stabs the animal repeatedly, drenched in blood, breathing heavily. This isn't recreation, it's survival. And that's the first hint that Jack Grimm isn't playing at being human. He's struggling to remain one.
Back in Gotham, Bruce presses Alfred harder. He doesn't want surface-level explanations anymore. He wants origins. And that's when the mask finally starts to slip. Alfred reveals that deeper investigations into the Grimm family uncovered something horrifying. Long before Jack Grimm 5, long before modern tech, the Grimms were experimenting. Laughing gas, toxins, psychological weapons, early bioweapons designed to incapacitate through joy, hysteria, and madness. People didn't scream when they died. They laughed. The Grimms funded both sides of wars, Allied and Axis. Conflict was good for business. Chaos was profitable. Through clown-themed subsidiaries and shell corporations, they infiltrated media, military research, pharmaceuticals, and entertainment. Their motto said everything: live life like a clown, act foolish, hide in plain sight, control everything while everyone laughs. But then, Alfred says something that changes the entire story. There may never have been a Grimm family at all. Alfred explains that when timelines, records, and bloodlines are compared, they don't align. Too many overlaps, too many contradictions, too many moments where one Jack Grimm should have died, but didn't. The truth, Alfred believes, is almost impossible to accept. There has only ever been one Jack Grimm, not a dynasty, not descendants. One thing, a being that has existed for centuries, maybe longer, a shapeshifter, a myth wearing human skin, drawing from old folklore, Pagliacci, jesters, medieval death clowns. Alfred describes Jack as a timeless embodiment of mockery and doom, a creature that feeds on fear, chaos, and laughter at the edge of death. Bruce demands clarity. He wants proof. He wants logic, and Alfred gives him belief. Jack Grimm is not a man, he's a nightmare. And then the comic reveals the final truth. The monstrous clown we saw at the beginning, the mutated, horned, clawed creature laughing in the dark, is not metaphorical. He's the Joker. This isn't a Joker who fell into chemicals. This is a Joker who has been becoming, evolving, shedding humanity. The laughter that's echoed through Gotham for decades was never a coping mechanism or a joke. It was a warning. The Joker isn't insane. He's ancient. He's the same thing Jack Grimm has always been, a predator that wears humor like camouflage. As the Joker roars, ha ha ha, it's no longer funny. It's a death rattle, a signal flare that chaos has arrived. Bruce, shaken to his core, pulls away from Alfred. He needs distance. He needs action. He says he's going to check on Waylon Jones, Killer Croc, because now he's seeing the world differently. Monsters aren't metaphors anymore. They're everywhere. The narration turns accusatory. It suggests Bruce shared this story not because the world needed to know, but because he couldn't carry it alone anymore. Because even Batman has limits. Even he breaks under the weight of knowing that evil isn't accidental, it's eternal. Intelligence reports place Jack Grimm on one of his islands off Colombia. Bruce's obsession deepens. This isn't a case anymore, it's a reckoning. The issue ends quietly, but ominously. Jack Grimm returns to his ancestral manor. An old servant greets him, calling him Master Grimm. Jack declines food, says he's already eaten. The line lands like a threat. Back in Gotham, Bruce descends into the Batcave. The red lights glow. The clock looms. He says only one thing: I'll be in the cave. This is no longer just Batman versus the Joker. This is Batman versus the idea that evil never dies. It just learns new jokes. And whatever Jack Grimm truly is, it's coming home. Our nerdy thoughts. And that's where this story leaves us. Batman standing at the edge of a truth he can't unsee. A world where evil isn't born from tragedy or choice, but has always been here, laughing behind a painted smile. If Jack Grimm really is the Joker, then Gotham hasn't been fighting a man all these years. It's been surviving a myth, a predator that adapts, hides, and waits until it's time to remind the world it's still hungry. This issue doesn't just raise the stakes for Batman, it redefines what the Joker is. Not a punchline, not a psychopath, but an idea that refuses to die. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you think about this version of the Joker. Is he scarier as an immortal nightmare, or do you prefer the Joker as a broken man? Thanks for watching. This is Captain Comics, and I'll see you next time in the shadows.